Photographers are like hamsters. You're not really sure why you have one in your life. They build things out of toilet paper, and they, in general, just take from you. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to help 10 of them if they were to ask me for help, just because they suck and smell like hamster wood.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
As a little side experiment, DaVinci just came out with its voice isolation technology. Usually I edit my audio in Audition. So right now you're listening to Audition. Around the 6th question, I'm going to switch to DaVinci's voice isolation, and then you'll see which sounds better. And I will get out of C-Log, because I cannot stand the noise patterns. Stop bugging me. Hi Casey, I had an opportunity to pounce Panasonic S5, 2040-105, 1400 American. Don't ask me how I killed somebody. Anyhow, I pounced thinking about picking up one of the 1.8 primes for vlogging and with tuna. I know I'm a moron. Yeah, you know that. Okay, if it was me, you have two options for YouTube. Either you get the 18mm 1.8 and you do this and vlog with it all in one lens, or 24mm 1.8, possibly slightly better look here, little tight on the outside. You have to really extend it out there. If it's me, I'm going for the 18mm. That's just fun. This is 20. Imagine a little wider. You can't? With the help of technology, I have just added 2mm to the shot. Indiscernible to the naked eye. So it's okay. It's not my favorite focal length for in here. It's a bit wide. I like 21 maybe. How is the updated autofocus compared to the Fuji XH2? He's talking about the Panasonic GH6. You know, initially I was so proud of little panty boy. I was like, you know what? This is totally usable. I was in here. I was in the whole time. I took a vlog out. The whole vlog except 1 second where I was in the shade, and it was like, okay, some other system might have lost me too. I didn't complete the word system. My brain had a hemorrhage. I do eat a lot of meat. I can say 100% in that one vlog, it was much more reliable than the XH2s, at least. The Fuji would lose me. Like, you turn your head, you're gone. So, like, I think Panasonic kinda caught up with the algorithms, but it's still, as you continue to use it, then you see, you put a wig on, your life's over. It was just losing my ass for animal eye detect. It's pulsing weird. It's not good at all, but better, like it always is. Every year Panasonic gets a little better, but it's still contrast detect. They have no hope in life until they switch to phase. I'll phase your mom. So was the DJI out of focus back then? Yeah, DJI has always been out of focus. That's my first complaint, was the DJI Action, the original, was not in focus at handheld distance. I was like, kind of deal-breaking here when you're a vlogging company. But then I tried one, and I was like, I didn't mind it being out of focus. It looks stupid, the background's sharper than you are, but like it had the tiny little mic jack, and I was like, this is tiny. And then you get the close focusing filter. It brings you in focus, so it's doable. But this new DJI Action 3 is even worse. Far worse. Question for you. That wasn't your question? Oh man, I wrote so many points. Oh. When you use a phone, which I never do, front lens, main one, or screen facing you lens, so you see yourself. I wish I didn't have to decide between those two things. Some cameras, phones, have like a little screen here now. Nice, but yeah, I always use the main one, and that's why Huawei is the best. They have the biggest sensor on the smallest wide angle one. It's like an 18mm, but like still somewhat decent size. Whenever a smartphone reviewer gets to the vlogging section and then he switches to the front facing cam for the vloggers, because that's what we do, like we're dumb. We are, but I hate it so much I just want to grab their scrotal sack and twist. If that wasn't illegal, I would. The annoying thing is usually the biggest sensor is the main lens, and it's often like 25mm. It's a bit tight for vlogging with that digital stab crop. So it's too bad. That's why I went with the Huawei. One of the many reasons. Bigger sensor, wide angle, best slow in the business. Best slow. Move on. I'm not sure if you have gone over this before, but do you notice Sony's active stabilization working better on Sony lenses? I've only mentioned that 700 times in each video I've counted. I picked up 35mm 1.8 and instantly could see a difference in stabilization over my 60, Sigma 24-70. If you haven't already, I would love a comparison just to confirm that I'm not losing your mind. This is why I don't suggest third-party lenses ever. It's not only the Stabe does not work with active for some reason. I don't know what the Sony protocol is, but third-party does not happen. Also, the autofocus is worse. And then you have like different features, like this focus breathing is not going to work with non-Sony lenses. And then there's this Canon thing that I'm using right now. It eye tracks you. I have eye tracking autofocus, manual focus. Like I'm out now, but I can see that I'm out. It has a box around my eye and these two arrows. And like as I get closer, they're going and they turn green. Now it's green. So like I could switch to 4K, go way back there and manually focus and it would be pretty easy to see. I'm out. I'm in. I just tried that Pergear 35mm. That disappears. You cannot do that. So it's like the best performance you're gonna get is with native lenses or Leica or Zeiss. Those are like, they perform like native, but you get these third-party freaks. You lose integrity, 3D pop, feature pop, other things. Ooh, we switched to dark mode. Well, do you prefer it? Let me know down below in the poll. I didn't create one. Could someone explain what the issue with autofocus in video? I thought Canon had class-leading autofocus. Is Sony AF superior in video? Thanks, folks. Canon, I have trouble. I've tested many of their cameras from the M50, the EOS R, with actual autofocusing lenses, the R5, the R6. I've been lost many times. Little head turns in here when I had the EOS R. Really annoying. And like out in the vlog world, gone. When it gets to low light, it was hunting like quite a bit. I've done many comparisons like R5 versus XT4, and the XT4 had me when I was dark in here, and R5 was like back and forth hunting. I don't find them very reliable. When they are good, they're smooth. They're smoother than Sony. I wish I should get an autofocusing lens just to show you. But like it's nice. It follows very smoothly. Maybe smoother than Sony, but Sony's more reliable and faster. Just you never get lost on Sony, whereas you do on Canon. And I see many other people making videos and it's like, yeah, autofocus. Sorry about that. They're making notes here. Sorry, I'm so out of focus today. I don't know why. It's because you suck and you bought into Canon, you yuppie. Okay, now what we've done. Can you hear a difference immediately? The whole first half of the show was my regular audio, noise reduction, compression, all this stuff. And now I'm just doing it in DaVinci. This would be much easier for me because I can do this on the whole track, and every time I upload a thing, all I have to do is just raise the level and then I move on with my life. So is this fantastic? Is it worse? I don't know why. It's because you suck and you bought into Canon, you yuppie. It better not be worse. And we've also switched to just standard, no log. Canon color science confirmed. Better? Worse? Well, what's so bad about Oli? It's not that there's many things wrong with them. The first thing is that they've been bought by a Japanese sushi company that has no motivation to live. They don't want to make cameras. They're just, I don't know why they bought them. They just thought maybe we can sell off what you already had and make $17 in the end profit. They're not making anything. So that sucks. But mostly, the biggest complaint I have is Oli is photocentric. They have decent looking video at times. For vlogging, you can't beat them. I love their color science, best stave in the business. Amazing autofocus, the EM13, at least. It got worse in the OM1. So like, they're good, but I need more. I need more now, apparently. So I like slow motion, and they have the worst slow motion codecs you've ever seen. And it's just, they won't change. Single autofocus, locked exposure, and then over sharpened ugly, and huge crop. They're so far behind, I don't think they're ever going to get there. If you only wanted 4K 60, the OM1's decent, but I need more. I'm waiting for 4K 240p. Where's that? So I just don't trust OM system to bring Olympus into a new, better future. They're only going to get worse, as we saw with the OM5 embarrassment. So it's like, what's the point of investing in them now? Like, they have almost no advantage. Still better autofocus than Panty Boy. Slightly maybe better color too, but the codecs ruin. Appreciate all the brutally honest assessments of these cameras. The question is, are you going to miss the Fuji once firmware updates start fixing some of the XH2 issues? Brilliant song regarding Panasonic autofocus. I don't think you can fix stupid. They made a mistake. They went for a stacked sensor, and X-Trans can't be stacked. Don't quote me on this, but there's RGB, which is what everybody uses. They call it Bayer. I bared your mom once. And then they have X-Trans. That's unique to Fuji. It's a different array. It has some advantages, but when you stack that, don't quote me on that. I'm not a Scientologist. I don't understand what I'm even saying right now. I feel like because they stacked it, which I don't know what that even means, it ruined something. It introduced a new noise pattern that was like elongated and super bad and noticeable. So like, whenever I shot in 240p, I'm like, wow, that looks terrible. Just all this noise and just disgusting image, unless you're at like ISO 13. Is that the symbol for 13? It's probably not. So the one thing I was hoping to be improved over the XT4 actually got worse. So I have zero regrets getting out of that system, and from what I've seen from Panty Boy, smaller sensor, but it's not in 240p. It's actually bigger because there's no crop, and the 300 frames per second, slightly slower than Fuji's 240, actually is cleaner and sharper and just not bad at all. It's just good, all around better, everything about it. So it's like, I miss nothing. What are they going to fix? They can't fix that ever. It's just known that, okay, the 240p got worse, but we got 4K 120, and the autofocus is better. Depends what you want. I want ultra slow-mo, and that thing was a deal breaker. My question for you, Casey, now that you have experienced the next level of Panasonic Fuji H6, if you had to restart your camera journey all over again, which brand would you choose? Would it be Canon, Sony, Nikon, or Panasonic? Your total budget is only $3,000? I'm ignoring that last thing you said. What about the other companies? There's OM System, which is probably my number one choice. Or the Fuji. Where's the Fuji? Why did that get brighter? Something happened to my house. Electricity. Oh, I can feel it. The reality is Sony would suit me best. That would be the smart choice. There's a part of me that just wants to hope that something else is better, but from what I've seen in Nikon, they don't do what I want. Canon, unreliable. If you want to step up, it's hard to edit files. I gotta get a whole new PC for that. Is it even good? Can you even edit the files once you spec out a PC? It's just a bad codec. I think I lean Sony with $3,000. I need like wildlife setups, maybe 2 bodies. It would be kind of nice to have the one system. I've said in the past that it's kind of cool to have different systems, like Canon for this, and then I go to something completely different for wildlife, and I have all these different options. But that introduces a battery charging conundrum, where you have like all these different chargers, and then you're not used to what, oh, this button's over here now, and like, you get so used to Sony menus. If you're always using Sony, you can find your settings so much faster. But if you're constantly switching between Canon, Panasonic, and Sony, it really ruins your mind long term. So I would probably just start all over, get Sony A7S III, because the firmware updates are so reliable. And then maybe, I doubt it, but maybe the FX30 if I stuck to your bullshit $3,000 budget. FX30, 15mm 1.4 in here, 200 to 6, nope, 100 to 400 GM, because it has the super crop. Oh boy. Or the 70 to 200 GM. Even better. Scratch everything I just said. DJI Action 1. Is the Action 3 worse? What's going on with this light? Do you see that flickering? It's too high? Damn you, Culber. Damn you. I switched to using this Culber light instead of that softbox just because it looks nicer with the white umbrella. I prefer that. They reached out to me to send me another light. I was like, I'm not interested. They're like, remember you reviewed our light? You want this one? I'm like, no. DJI Action 1. Is Action 3 worse? It was better and worse. That's the problem. It should just be better. But it's actually worse in a lot of ways. It had much worse 240 frames per second. I don't know why. Much softer, terrible. Terrible looking. The focus was worse. DJI Action 1 is sharper. But they had like superior color science that blew me away. It was like Canon level. I was like drooling over it. I was like, damn. But I'm not in focus and the slow-mo's so bad. It sucks, man. Why do they keep doing it? They just remove something. It's on purpose. It has to be. No one could be this dumb. You already do a thing and then you improve on it. Not make it worse. What are we doing? Casey Viltrock's 13mm Tony 1.4 for the FX30 talking head. Thoughts? If you had to bless us with that mess, you could do worse. You could do it. It's probably decent, but here's the thing. With that lens, it doesn't have the character, I don't think. I didn't see it. I thought the Zeiss had better character, but less tonne, so it wasn't even worth the character. Your only other options, like the Sony 15mm 1.4 is not going to have the 3D pop. We all know that. So like there are no real options. The 11mm 1.8. I don't know. I don't know what you do. I would go probably 15mm 1.4 just because it's lighter. You could vlog with it. It's that 1mm wider. Could be done. But I suppose cost is going to play a role in your decision. And Viltrox is cheaper. It's heavy. It's not going to work with a lot of these features. Active stay, not really. So I lean Sony lenses. It's too bad Zeiss doesn't have a nice, wide, fast prime. A 12mm 1.8. That'd be pretty magic. Zeiss. Did we learn anything today? Was the audio better? Let me know down below. In DaVinci or Adobe Audition? Was standard better than C-Log? No one cares about any of it. Did you notice that this microphone was here the whole time? Confirmed.